the situation with those three?
Yeah, injuries. Tom Lawrence, Sam Vokes, Ethan Ampadu all haven't met up. They've got different injuries. Ethan's got slight back strain. Tom Lawrence, I was at the game, took a blow to his other ankle. He was struggling with one ankle, then got a knock on the other ankle, so he was out. And Vokesy has been struggling with a groin, come back at the weekend, played 70 minutes, and then just felt it again. So the three of them are unavailable. Aaron's just got a slight knock to his thigh, so we're just monitoring that this week, but he should be okay.
Should be okay for Trinidad, or are you looking
for the weekend? Yeah,
the weekend?
Yeah, he won't be involved tomorrow.
And some of the players trained this side: David Brooks, Lawrence. There was one other as well.
Dan James.
Dan James, yeah. What's the story?
Yeah, well, you know, some players have not played since last week. Some players have played at the weekend. Obviously, James Lawrence played Sunday evening, so he met up with us Monday. Dan James has played a lot of games in a short space of time, and the way that he is, dynamic player, just thought I'd give him another day, but he's fine. And Brooksy just took a knock on his ankle, so we're just looking after that, really. That was the reasons that they trained away from the other lads.
So they should all be okay?
Yeah, they're all fine.
Okay. Trinidad, how much of a bearing is Slovakia going to have on your team selection? Are you looking to start strong and maybe reduce, or are you looking at a totally different side to Slovakia?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a balancing act, really. Like I said, players are at different stages, so some players need games, some players don't. And this is, as I touched on it last week, you know, it's a good opportunity with the friendly fixture that we can have that. It's not a long time, but that 6-day build-up for some of the players. So some of them won't be involved tomorrow. Others need a game, need minutes, whether that be 90 or 45. We'll just have to see and see as we go along in the game.
And if my memory serves me right, your Wales international career actually started at the racecourse. I think it was either a Wales under-18s or an under-21 game where you played for the first time. And everybody clapped when you started because they thought that puts the end to the England-Wales thing. Do you know that?
Yeah, under 16s it was.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah, against England, yeah.
What do you remember of that, and how special is it?
Well, I remember, obviously, playing for England schoolboys the year before, playing against a lot of the lads who I'm now playing with. So, and vice versa, a lot of the lads who were playing for England I'd played with the year before. So, yeah, it was a bit strange, but yeah, it was something obviously well documented over the years. England schoolboys, went to an English school, but I always knew the next year that I would be playing for the Wales youth team as it was then. So, yeah, it was a proud moment for me, obviously. First game against first game for Wales, so yeah, it was good memory.
Bit of symmetry going back there now.
Pardon?
Bit of symmetry going back.
Yeah, I mean, the occasions that I've played at the racecourse, I've enjoyed it. So again, going back to why I wanted to play the game here, it's a friendly. I wanted a full house, which it looks like we're going to get, rather than potentially a half-empty stadium. So. And, what I've said about a thank you to the fans in the north as well, having a game on their doorstep, which doesn't happen very often.
Just what about Ethan, Ryan? He's obviously injured in this situation. How frustrating is that? Because he's sort of playing with such big potential. He's not played for Chelsea this season.
Yeah, it is frustrating. He's at that age, obviously, where it's in between his age and the first team. So a lot of the time he's travelling with the squad, and I went through it a little bit where, you sometimes you don't play and then you go back to your own age group. And it's just that balancing that, because, he's not getting the minutes that lesser players, if you like, would get because of his quality, because he's played the odd Europa game, the odd cup game for Chelsea. And because of the talent, that I can see Sarri obviously wants him around the first team. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a stop-start together with the injuries, which is frustrating because, like you say, he's he's an amazing talent, and you know he's shown that in the few games that he's played for me.
Do you think you might have to look at that in the summer, going out on loan perhaps? Because you say he's falling between two stools of being not quite good enough for Chelsea, still really too good for.
Yeah, I think that's always the case with players in that situation, you know, or you know he has a great pre-season and forces himself into that first team. So I think, you know, obviously Chelsea, big club, they'll be looking at that. But yeah, we've had players in the same situation. Obviously Brooksy, Dan James, Ben Woodburn, Harry Wilson. You know, talented players who've gone out on loan and benefited from it. But if he can force himself into that Chelsea team, then that'll be great.
Ryan, Ethan travelled to the Ukraine after you named the squad last week. Is that obviously hampered his back in terms of the situation?
No, I think he felt his back earlier in the week, but it wasn't really a problem.
Right.
So then when they've got back, they've scanned it, and it's nothing, but it's obviously a couple of weeks out, and he'll be fine, but just not ready for me.
He seems to be picking up a lot of injuries. I know obviously he's growing at the same time. Is that a concern for you? Is he being managed properly?
Well, I look at the players like he reminds me a little bit of Steven Gerrard, you know, because he's still growing. Every time he meets up, you think he's grown or I've shrunk, one of the two. But he's growing out, he's growing up, and he's just, pardon, a bit of both, I think. But no, he's at that stage where he's just growing, and in between, you know, playing, not playing, and I think that's the main issue. But yeah, Steven Gerrard had it, and a couple of players had it, where you know they're just still growing and they pick up these little knocks and strains.
Ryan, you spoke about Daniel James. What you made of his rise this season?
Quick, isn't he? No, he's a talented player, obviously, with speed that you only see every now and again. So, and he's a great lad, great professional. That's why looking after him really, because he's had 3 games where you know his stats are up there, his sprints, repeated sprints, and of course the emotional game, big game with City as well, and also change of position. You know, he's played a couple of times up front, which he's done really well. But no, he's been fantastic. He's been fantastic these last few weeks, especially.
What do you make of his mentality as well? Obviously, he was so close to joining Leeds on deadline day, but
Yeah.
that fell through, and he's had to crack on at Swansea. He's got on with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously know the details of that, but yeah, I think they played him that week, was it the week after or something like that? So yeah, it just, like you say, it shows his professionalism and his mentality to come through that and you know, kick on again from what already was a good season.
You touched on the Swansea City game there. You're starting to get worried that City might win the pod.
What?
Are you worried that City might win the pod?
I've got enough to worry about. Please don't bring that up. No, I mean, they're a fantastic team, aren't they? So they've obviously already got one. With United going out of the FA Cup, makes it a little bit easier for them. But they've got a long way to go. But just like us in the treble, you need a lot of things to go for you. That bit of luck, which they had at the weekend. But no, they're a brilliant team. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if what they can achieve.
What's the welcome been like for you back here in the last couple of days?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, obviously seeing a lot of old faces. I was here for so long, and you know, it was part of the reason why I wanted to come here, because you know I know the people here and I could trust them, and knew that the facilities would be great and the players would enjoy it, especially them younger players. You know, coming seeing the tremendous facilities here, and you know what I touched on before about you know, having the best facilities possible and the best preparation for the game.
Right, you mentioned the injuries, but great to see Gareth Bale out there and scoring for Real on the weekend.
Yeah, it's always great because you know usually when Gareth scores, he goes on a run. So yeah, it's good to get his first 90 minutes. I think it was for 3 months. So yeah, I've said before what a talent he is, and you know if he plays games, he'll score goals, and you know any manager would want him in your team.
Is he someone that you might have to look at? Obviously tomorrow night, Wrexham, it's great having a match there, but obviously the stadium isn't usually quick for him to
Yeah, I mean, that's why I picked a big squad, knowing that a couple of the players were on the fringe and they didn't quite make it. But also, you know, we have got this advantage potentially of having for a lot of the players who needed that 6-day build-up rather than, you know, be involved in the game and then recover. So, yeah, I want the best preparation for each individual, and it is a bit of a juggling act because they're coming to you at different stages. Some have played loads of games. You know, you got Connor, who's played a load of games this year, Harry, Dan James I just touched on in a short space of time. So giving players that lead up to a game, and also the reverse players who need games and need minutes.
Ryan, you said last week that you had all but 1 or 2 places sorted in your mind for Slovakia. Is there a chance for a player to play himself into the team for Sunday if they fall on
Yeah.
Wrexham?
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. And that's, you know, I've challenged the players to do that. You know, that obviously we want a win tomorrow, but the main thing is to make sure that we get off to a good start for the qualifiers. So if you're not involved, yeah, the best preparation, but also I've not picked the team yet. I've got an idea, but there are still places up for grabs.
Right, was it a big thing for you that Darren played at the weekend? Because obviously you might have been told next summer, him not playing every week at Rams might be an issue for you going forward. So does he not pick him? Is it a big thing for you?
Yeah, it is, because he picked up a foot injury against Ajax in the last few minutes, so I was worried that, you know, it would be about 3 weeks without a game. So it was good that, like I said, he got 90 minutes under his belt. It's good for him, good for his mentality that he's done that, obviously, and physically it's great that he's done it.
But you've got Gareth, you've got Aaron next year, you've answered two big players playing at some big clubs in Europe. They need to be playing, don't they, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I said that about Aaron. You know, he's going to a great club. You know, it doesn't matter for me where players are, as long as they're playing. That's the main thing, because not only you know, when you reach a championship, but actually we found when we played Ireland and then Denmark, it's not a lot of time, especially if you have to travel. That 3-day turnaround, which a lot of the players are used to, a lot of the players aren't. So yeah, you want players with minutes under the belt.
Ryan, in the last qualifiers for the Euros, Gareth got a huge number of goals and assists and seemed like a real man on a mission to take Wales to the finals. Do you detect that again with this campaign?
Yeah, you know, he's the main man, Gareth, but also I want to take that pressure off him as well at the same time, and have that, if he's not available, that we're just not relying on one player. But yeah, I mean, Aaron scored some important goals as well. Obviously, with the emergence of Harry Wilson, of Brooks, Dan James, you know, we've got so many attacking options, and that's what I want. That's what I want. But you also recognise that you have a special player, one of the best players in the world, and playing to his strengths also.
Brian, when do you expect Aaron to start training?
Aaron, yeah, probably Thursday. When we get down to the Vale, getting back on the pitch.
Because he's a Dow, will that change your thinking maybe on the minutes Gareth will play tomorrow?
Yeah, I think, yeah, looking at, I mean, first of all, you don't know how the players are going to turn up. So, yeah, we do plenty of medical screening on Sunday, so then we can really plan for who needs to do what. And yeah, usually that first day there's 3 groups. You know, there's a group who can train, there's a group who stay off the feet completely, and then there's one who does like a second day recovery or a working recovery. So that will maintain during the week, obviously with the game on Wednesday as well.
Right, Gareth's had quite a difficult time in Spain recently with the Spanish press and some of his own sports. Just coming into a camp like this, kind of re-energising, being around, like say, such a close-knit squad, does it kind of give him a mental boost as well?
I think from my experience, when Gareth's turned up, he's been brilliant, and he loves playing for Wales. He loves coming away. He's with his mates. But also he loves playing for Real Madrid. You know, he's seen at the weekend, new manager, scoring, being a big part of that game. But yeah, of course, he loves coming away because, you know, you see him around. He's obviously one of the voices in the dressing room with the experience that he's got and the leadership skills that he's got also.
Just take one last question. Anyone? Last one? Yeah, go on.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic has said that the quote circle of Ferguson, that people connected to the class of '92 and stuff around the club is
What did he say?
He said that there's a huge circle of Ferguson's supporters and old players that are always around the club weighing in with their opinion and stuff. And in his view, that perhaps wasn't that helpful to the current manager.
Well, I think first of all, there's only Nicky who's connected with the club, and when you play over 2,000 games between us, we're going to have an opinion. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative, but I don't think that has any bearings on results or anything. So, yeah, we're supporters of the club, together with other ex-players, you know, who are on TV or on radio. That's what football's about, having different opinions. But, yeah, obviously he knows more about the club than us.
Okay, thank you. Diolch. Thanks, Ray.